Hello everybody, in this first video here for Skill Development 5 and 6, we're going to be going ahead and working with the LiDAR data in some new ways that you haven't seen before. So last time we took the LiDAR information that was contained in our digital elevation model and we turned that into our contour layer. Looks like I need to go ahead and flip some stuff around. There we go. And turn that into contour information for the park. Right, all of these are big files, which is why I work as clean as I possibly can to keep ArcGIS from locking up on me. So, what else can we do with this information? How can we actually turn this into additional graphics? How can we conduct additional analysis on it? We could certainly print off our contour map and we could go in and do slope analysis by hand. But that's exactly why we're learning GIS, is that's just not a reasonable expectation of the use of our time, whether that be as students or as professionals in landscape architecture. We have tools that are available to us for this exact reason, and we're going to get to those. Before we do, I want to go ahead and jump in here and show you some additional tools that are available to you to just help communicate out topography in a way to help people be able to understand it. So again, I'm going to go ahead and flip my DEM back on. And one of the tools I'm going to use, and so this is where we're going to move into spatial analyst tools. And so if you get a message that pops up that says you can't, those tools are not available to you, it's probably because, go back to the very beginning exercise we did here in GIS, one of the extensions I told you to turn on at that time really wasn't useful when we were doing that. But if you don't go into extensions and turn on spatial analyst, it will pop up and say you don't have the license to be able to use this. By clicking that button, you've just spent about $2,500 to $3,000 in additional software, but there are reasons why it's worth it. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to, again, the contour layer is its own separate feature. We're going to continue to work with the digital elevation model for Happy Hollow Park. You can see that underneath Spatial Analyst Tools, one of the toolboxes that pops up for us is called Surface. Surface is where we spend a lot of time when we're analyzing this kind of information. So, first things first, I'm going to use a tool called Hillshade. And over here in the tool menu, or in the tool help menu, it will actually tell you that it creates a shaded relief from a surface by considering the illumination, source, angle, and shadows. So really what this is that this is a way to visualize topography in Happy Hollow Park. So what we're going to do is we're going to use the input raster, which is the DEM. The output raster is where you need to go ahead and save that information. So I'm going to go ahead and set this up real quick so that it saves and stop the video so you don't have to watch me do that stuff. So I've gone ahead and put this into my folder where I store data. This happens to be on a different server than what you use, but certainly you can see that you can direct it to both your home directory or you can direct it to your C drive. You have a lot of different options here. When it talks about going ahead and looking at the shadow angle, basically, it's saying that you can basically adjust this for this light source, and so this will change where you get shadows on this. And so I'm going to suggest that you go ahead and include model shadows onto your layout here, because it's one way to go ahead and enhance the overall effect of this. You can come in and play with these. My suggestion is that you run it 2 or 3 different times. I think that's a really effective way to try and get the right model built up that you can go ahead and build everything else off of. Turn your model shadows off. A different way, instead of modeling your shadows, you can actually enhance the height on this, is I will often come in and force a Z factor. And so what this means is that right now it's actually modeling on a 1-to-1, right? So 1 foot in elevation is being shown this way. You can actually force this to go a different route. So if I put a 3 in, it's actually going to show that it's going to exaggerate the height by 3 times. And so that certainly is a possibility. For today, though, I'm actually going to go ahead and back up and just run this clean. I'm going to run it with standard settings, no shadows, no enhancement on the Z factor, and just see what we get. So I'm going to go ahead and click Run, and then I'll show you what we get here in just a minute. All right, and as we've come to the conclusion of this, what you're going to see as I zoom in here is that you're going to see that it's actually gone ahead and created a surface for me that shows off what the topography looks like as we zoom in here. Right, and so one of the things you get is that there definitely is a little bit of blurriness that comes into this. If we jump back in here to our settings, it would be great if they gave us an option to actually enhance the settings just through here. I will tell you that once you become more involved in GIS, we can actually go in and change some of those settings to get a higher resolution image. But for right now, in general, this is usually good enough. And so one of the things that I would suggest doing is play with your settings. Right? It's always going to be blurry when we zoom all the way in. But realistically, how often are we going to zoom all the way in? Really, this is about as close as you get to it when you're constructing most graphics. And you're going to see that that does a really nice job. Now, if I turned on to add the shadows, it would actually really darken some of this up. And that can be good or bad. It might hide some data if you have shadows on there, but it actually will make it all pop a little bit more. But this is a critical feature for communicating out to communicate what this looks like in plan view to people, especially who aren't designers, who aren't used to reading contour lines, right? This helps them understand the hills, the valleys, and some of the other cut-throughs that are going on in this space. With that, really, that was the intent of this video. And so we're going to be going ahead and, let me jump over into supporting materials here. I'm going to go ahead and share kind of a step-by-step process here. Is that you begin by working through our DEM. Fortunately, LiDAR gives us, instead of being 30 meters out, we're now actually down to 1 foot or 1 meter resolution. So this is just the difference, right? So if we were at 30 meter resolution, it's, 900 square meters is the smallest cell size. When we go down to 3, so 9 square meters is the smallest cell size. You're actually working with better data than that, and you'll see that historically this is what Hillshade has been able to produce for us. All right, I'm going to go ahead and pause here at this point in time, and we'll pick up again in the next video.